when John does it, maybe John lets the whole 20 seconds play beforehand. Who can say? Anyway, welcome to the podcast. It's the VGB's podcast, episode 54 or 55. I've just noticed I have a pimple on my upper lip.
Oh.
Right there. Worst thing that's ever happened to me. Probably.
Never had an eyebrow pimple? Because those are the worst ones, I think.
No, I don't think so. That sounds
Very
terrible,
painful.
Lotus. That sounds horrible.
An eyebrow or a hairline pimple might as well end it all.
No, that sounds terrible. Welcome to the podcast. It is time for us to talk about video games. John Warren, International Space Station right now. Surgery. The surgery part of the International Space Station, which is huge for him. His surgery went well. He's just still at the hospital. Remember, Lotus, you were there when John Warren said, I'll just be back.
The thing is, he probably could podcast and put on a hell of a podcast.
No, for sure. But it would be the last
critically
one
in the hospital.
No, in the hospital, and it would be the last one.
Because they do need to kind of keep you around, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't even gotten a picture of the rod.
We haven't even gotten a picture of the rod. I asked him on the last
Woo hit.
Yeah, we did. I asked him for many pictures. I asked him to ask the doctor for a lot of pictures because I feel like, and this is what I said on Woo Hit, but people aren't asking for enough documentation that they are absolutely doing during the surgery. So you should be walking out of there with a Google Photos album. Anytime you go under, you should be receiving the surgery and a Google Photos link of all of the stuff that they did while they were in there.
They should just airdrop you throughout.
Yes. Who's going to accept it, though? You, I guess, maybe. Keep you just awake to hit the accept button for an airdrop.
They'll hire someone in residency. That's their
good.
only job. While you're on observation, your job is to airdrop for the patient.
See, Lotus, earlier when I sent you the document for this week's episode, you said, what is the bullshit section? It's this part.
Well, I don't remember it the last time I was on, so I thought that was just you being coy for talking about news.
No. Yesterday, I went to an allergy appointment, and there were two residents in there with me and the doctor. So there were a total of 4 people in this small room. And at one point, there were 3 stethoscopes on me at the same time. They were all like listening into my body at the same time. They all took turns looking into my nose and mouth with the little guy. Do they teach at your hospital? At the hospital go to? At the hospital you go to, do they teach there?
I live in Texas. You're so funny for thinking I've been to a hospital within recent memory. I got my vaccines at Walgreens, bud.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm sure they do. I do live in Houston. They are pretty famous for training medical people.
You got U of H. It's a good medical school.
Oh yeah.
From what I know from the television. Lotus, how else have you been doing? Is anything bad happening in the world or around you currently?
In the world, not that I'm aware of. I think everything in the world is going great. I think everything is fine.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good.
Everything's awesome and great. We bought a Blu-ray player. That's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, dude. What kind of Blu-rays are you watching on there?
MLB The Show 25, I think was the first one that got booted up. Hey, that game just starts. Did you know that?
Yeah, no, it's you turn it on and it's like baseball.
Yes, there's no intro, no nothing.
No.
We also we purchased the Blu-ray player because for some reason, I say for some reason, because the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out and tariffs are happening, it was on Mundo sale, and so we just bought one, and it came with a copy of Black Ops 6. Hey, that game is not good.
No. Well,
and you need to be online to play any part of it, and it's 100 gigs.
Yes.
We had to delete it to download Toem.
and that's the equal exchange. That's equivalent
It's
exchange.
A positive.
That's what The Alchemist is about, I think.
The Full Metal one or the other one?
No, the other one. Paolo's joint. Well, that's good. Congrats on your new Blu-ray player.
Thank you.
I'm glad. I'm thinking about, I would love to be in the meeting for MLB The Show on that team, because I'm sure the kind of guy who is playing that game normally isn't the kind of guy who knows what a menu is.
No, and that was very apparent in the tutorial that, again, starts when the game, which is the second that you click on it.
Yes, when you open it.
Hey, you know, one thing that's very interesting, kind of talking about those two guys, they don't explain what any word means. No. So my friend, who has only recently started getting into baseball, happened to have the controller while it was downloading and had no earthly idea what anything meant.
Yeah.
It's like, click the left stick and press X to perform a cutoff.
What does that mean?
Wow, that's great.
Great.
Does that
cool? Is that good? Do I want that?
Also, the abbreviations for pitches, I don't think are real.
It's like FB, it's fastball, curveball, slider.
But then they also get into the specific throws, like knuckle curves for some reason. The knuckleball does not exist, which granted, no one throws it. But that means that the abbreviation that would be knuckleball is the knuckle curve instead.
No, is that one KNC?
I believe so.
That's the thing about baseball. It's all like, of the sports, it's the one that's just the most made up. Because they had to invent a bunch of numbers around hitting a ball with a stick. And that's beautiful. Like, this is not me saying that it's a bad thing.
No.
I think it's great. That's why we're here. Yeah, I don't know. It's Summer Game Fest is over now. Yeah. So that was what I did last week. And nothing bad happened during that. Well, you drank that weird lemonade. Oh, that wasn't good. I thought it was limeade. It's green. No, it was lemonade. I watched them replace it at one point later on in the weekend, but they brought out another cube of it. So I didn't get to watch them make it. So I don't know what was in it. They just replaced the half empty cube with a full cube because not very many people wanted to drink it on account of the fact that it's not good. Yeah, and also just kind of a weird choice to have around. Yeah. People don't even want lemon water. I want lemon water. So they had regular water, they had fruit water, and then lemonade. Should we do, I have a segment in here where we go through all of the shit they gave me. Do you want to do that now? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did they give you that Xbox? No. So every year, Jeff picks a different bad color for a tote bag. But this year, it's less bad than it was last year. Last year, it was like piss yellow. And this year, it is what kind of piss? Deep purple. Like vitamins? Had water in a long time. So here's the bag. It's a tote bag. What says Summer Game Fest. It's pretty hefty. A flat bottom tote. It is a good tote bag. It is the kind of bag that you want when you take to the beach. Is kind of the instruction manual. And inside it comes with a bunch of stuff. Every year this stuff is different and none of it is ever any good. There's one good thing in here this year, but it isn't this. I did see these. It's for the video game King of Meat, coming from a studio I've forgotten the name of already. I'm sorry. Glowmade. Was it an Amazon? It is an Amazon game. Yes. The guy, I think I should have looked at any of my embargoes before I started this podcast. Well, allegedly they made a lot of them up after the fact. So do you really? That's a great question. Or like, no. Anyway, it's got this. King of Meat is a game by the Little Big Planet guy. He started his own studio and it's a dungeon crawler, except you build the dungeons. It's fine. It looks an awful lot like a death run. I don't know if you were ever a Gmod death run child. No, for sure. It's one of those. Like, it's fine. I'm sure there's a bunch of cool tools in it. It's a good game if you like those kinds of games. It's just not for me. So anyway, that's in here. A King of Meat foam finger. I don't know if I said those words out loud. Right. Notably, is the foam finger says KOM on the index finger. On the index finger. Yeah. And then it says number 1. It feels nuts. I don't like touching it. No. I can still kind of feel it on my hands. More so than any other foam finger, or? I think, yes. Okay. I think it feels worse. But also, Lotus, great question. I haven't had a foam finger in my hand in quite a while.
They don't feel very good usually.
Yeah. So maybe
either
that's just
too
how
soft
they go.
or too hard.
This one is too firm.
Okay.
I think. All of the bottled water was Vault-Tec branded for the video game Fallout 76, which was promoting the girl update because there's fishing in it. The Fallout 76 booth was a third of a storage container, and they had a kiddie pool and some like magnetic fish in it.
That's right.
And then you fished into it, and then there was enough space for 2 people to sit around the kiddie pool. It was a kind of nuts way to activate that game, but more power to them. That's what they did.
Nowhere to play the game, crucially.
No,
right?
absolutely not. No. Nowhere to play the game, nowhere to watch anything about the game. No visuals about the game at all. Just kind of the weird fishing thing. There's a card in here to tell you about the Razer Blade series of laptops. I took a meeting with them, and it was like being stuck in a Best Buy, where a man is trying to tell you about a laptop. So that's
they pulled you over and said, "Do you have a house?" And you said no. And you say, "Well, are you trying to get a house?" And you say, "Well, no." And you say, "Well, if you had one, you probably want solar panels,
you want
right?"
Solar, right? It's like, no, I don't have a house still. There is a different, smaller purple tote bag, also from King of Meat, and inside of it is a baseball cap.
Unlined.
What says unlined, cheap, as cheap as they could get. That also says KOM on it. Now, this one does look like it says come.
Yeah, the other one looked like it said come in German, but this one straight
But this
up.
one just looks like it says English come. So there's that. And now I'm looking at this, and I didn't see this prior. It's a tin of mints called Battle Lax, and it's a joke. Because it's like a laxative, except it is a sugar-free mint.
Sugar-free?
So, yeah. So we're all laughing because it was a funny joke.
Games have been really funny lately.
Really funny lately.
And they're going to continue to be really funny.
As well. There's this.
Is this Gang Beast or something?
I have no fucking clue, Lotus.
Okay. The shape is very Gang Beastly to me.
This is Monster Penske from the Sandrock Collector's Edition. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I'm assuming Penske is a portmanteau of penguin and husky, which would make sense given what it looks like.
That makes a lot of sense. That's really smart.
Sandrock, I believe, is My Time at Sandrock, the sequel to the critically acclaimed farming romance 'em up game, My Time at Porsche. So I would assume they got a collector's edition and are giving those out.
That makes a lot of sense. So it came with the dog penguin.
Looks fuzzy.
And it'll sit next to Barley in her crate, and she'll never interact with it. And it also came with a wooden 3D puzzle for the Sandrock workshop.
Hey, that's not a bad inclusion.
Last year, they had this from the same company, presumably, but it was a dinosaur for a game I don't remember. Oh, my hat has fallen. Oh, no. Also in here, Lotus, is a book called Once Upon Tomorrow, Harnessing the New Opportunities the Metaverse Creates by someone named Shurik Agapitov.
Okay.
The text on the back reads, "As you read this journey, I hope that you believe anything is possible because anything is." Oh, there's a bunch of garbage inside of it.
Oh, is there?
I didn't open it because why the fuck would I open this book?
Look, we're gaming here. Not only do we not want to read, we really don't want to read about AI.
The fucking metaverse. This is a gaming magazine called Onimusha Pro. So this might actually be kind of fun from the friends over at Capcom. It says that you could win a trip for 2 to Japan. And
what do you think they do for those promotions in Japan?
You don't go. When I won the Radio Disney Grand Prize, I'm pretty sure it was rigged so they didn't have to fly anybody out because they just had my mom drive to the radio station to pick up the tickets.
Okay.
Because on the radio, they were like, you'll get airfare and we'll get a limo and you'll be at a hotel. And because I was already in LA, they said, just come pick up the tickets. Actually, I don't even think we picked up the tickets. We were on the will call. We walked up to the window. We didn't do anything.
So what did you win?
The Jonas Brothers concert.
Oh.
The act of going. Should I enter this Onimusha 2 sweepstakes?
What do you get to do when you go to Japan, allegedly?
Round trip airfare for 2 to Tokyo, 5-night hotel stay in Tokyo, and then an activities guide fit for the ultimate Onimusha fan. Now, how many people do you think received this?
That's what I was going
Statistically
to ask.
speaking, my odds are pretty good, right?
Statistically, your odds are pretty good if this is real and not like a kind of fun
Like a
inclusion.
bit. No purchaser
I guess it's also
payment.
possible that they keep putting these out for like packs and stuff, but even then your odds would be pretty good.
My odds are still pretty good. It does on the back say I have to put it in an envelope by July 31st. So I have time.
An envelope?
Yeah. So that's in here. So far, what's your favorite, Ben Lotus?
I mean, that wooden little house looks neat. Looks all right.
Yeah, that's nice.
Will I ever build one of those? No, but they look nice.
No. Stickers from Mouse PD.
Hey, what a reveal that was. Have you? No, y'all have had this. Crazy to just be like, hey, you know this really interesting looking game. You sure it's kind of derivative, whatever. Also, Troy Baker's in it now.
Yeah. Is that good for you? Do you like that?
No. Why are they talking?
I am 8-bit 25th anniversary sticker.
Good for them.
Stickers for the video game Reloaded, which I did not get to check out because I couldn't find them on the floor.
Oh.
And that's on me. So I'll reach out to them and hopefully I can play that game via Parsec or something similar. I didn't see this, but now I'm amped.
Fortnite!
$15 Fortnite dollars. So that's good.
Well, 15's not a bad number.
No, that's a skin.
Not a nice one, but it's a skin.
No, but it's a skin. I unsubscribed from the Fortnite crew today.
Which one is that one?
That's the one where you pay them every month for the battle pass and you get 1,000 V-Bucks every month.
Why isn't it just called the battle pass?
I don't know.
I didn't know if they had 2 or not because it sounds like something they would do.
Well, I think there is a world where you could buy one of the battle passes, but not the other one. So I think you could just buy, if you wanted to, the Lego battle pass and not the Battle Royale battle pass, or just the music battle pass and not the Lego battle pass. But the Fortnite crew gives you all of the battle passes. But I have been subscribed to Fortnite crew for so long, I don't know a world without it. But I have no interest in this season, so I don't need to pay them money for it. This says Fortnite Squid Game. Make your own jod. I don't know how to say that word. Do you know how to say it?
Doc G, I guess.
Yep. Doc G kit. I think this is the envelope game.
Probably.
That Peely was playing.
Imagine you open it and it's the little caramel treat.
Oh, that would be nice. I don't think there's anything in here, but that would be cool. Peely was running around with the Squid Game Square. Square guy from Squid Game. And he was challenging people to the envelope thing.
It's so stupid. I will say, though, that Peely costume looked really nice.
No, it looked great. They went on.
Excellent mascot costume.
Excellent.
Escalante.
This is gummy worms. I didn't know were gummy fish. Sorry, that are in here. So these might be. Should I try one right now?
What a lame. Because if they knew, Nikki, if they knew anything, it would be an old timey set of like fishing lures instead of 2 Swedish fish and 1 white Swedish fish. What's the flavor like?
That one's citrusy. Pretty good, actually.
Nice.
There's a pin for Shadow Labyrinth.
Oh,
except
Pac-Man.
It's what's this called?
Holographic?
It's like lenticular. Lenticular. That's it. Except it's Pac-Man, and then you turn it, and then it's evil Pac-Man from Shadow Labyrinth. And then there's this.
What the fuck? A Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond Final Fantasy starter kit.
Yep. So that
you
was
sell that.
Here. I am allegedly.
No, you would never.
I would never.
I'm just saying that you could, hypothetically, if you wanted to.
A person could. They were giving away a lot of, if I went to my magic appointment, which I didn't do, sorry, they would have given me a bunch of packs. They were giving out like a bunch of stuff, but I don't understand what magic is. This is a pin from Dosa Divas.
Oh,
so that's nice. Pin. It's a large pin. I don't know where it's going to go.
A good 2x2.
This is a bar of soap.
Okay.
For the video game FBC Fire Break.
Can we get a sniff test?
Yep.
I hope it just smells like soap.
It's got the logo impressed on it.
Okay.
It smells like boy.
I was going to say, not to get into gender, but just looking at the bar, that's obviously a boy soap.
Yeah, it smells like boy. On the back, it says, being a firebreaker is a dirty job. Use this fresh rosemary scented bar soap for washing your body and hair after a shift in the old house. Man, men will just do whatever, dude.
Ooh.
This is another set of stickers for a game called Pedal Runner.
I've heard that game's very good.
So they're stickers. And then my favorite thing every year, which is a pair of socks. Now, these socks never go outside. They are not for outside consumption. No. Great indoor socks.
What size do they come in?
Mine. So that's convenient for me.
That's convenient for you?
Yeah. Otherwise, get fucked. But they do fit my feet. And then there's the little package in here that had my badge and also my meal vouchers.
Oh, yeah, meal vouchers. That's cool.
Yeah, I think there's one of them in here. I didn't use two of them. I found one on the ground, so I used that one.
Not min-maxing, though.
No, so I didn't eat all of Jeff's food. Jeff had an open bar that opened at noon and ran the entirety of the time.
Should you do that?
No, almost definitely not. That's bad practice.
Right, on either side of the equation. You really shouldn't do that.
No, for sure. No. Bad. Did I see people making use? Yeah, obviously.
Jeffrey only knows one world.
No, for sure. Should it be an option?
No.
Probably for a explicitly work event?
No.
Probably not. That was everything that was inside of the bag.
I mean, a fair amount of stuff. Better than the shit you get at GDC. I'll tell you that.
I didn't give me shit at GDC.
Exactly.
I didn't even use
a pin and a branded lanyard.
I don't even know where my GDC lanyard is. Oh, and I also obviously did get a lanyard. The lanyard's not branded this time. It just says SGF on it.
That's money. That's real money when you don't need a brand for the lanyards.
Yeah, we can afford our own.
When I went to PAX 2 years ago, they were Final Fantasy 14 online themed, I believe.
The last time I went to PAX, it was also that.
Okay.
I think
it's possible it was 16, I suppose. The game that no one cares about.
They made a 16th one of those?
Yeah. That's the one with Clive, the character from Tekken. Clive.
They go back and forth between Final Fantasy and Warframe sponsoring the lanyards at PAX, I feel.
Yeah, that would make sense. Warframe seems to sponsor a lot of the various
They'll do
events.
anything. Speaking of Warframe, I'm going to TennoCon.
Wow. Where is that?
London, Ontario, Canada. Why not?
I hope you have a great time looking at them.
I hope so too.
With all their polygons.
I don't know anything about Warframe.
No.
Anything. Every time I have tried to play it, I have fallen off of it.
Yes, me as well.
So I'm going to ask, I guess we could strategize this content now, Lotus. Should I try Warframe between now and mid-July when I need to go?
Not now and mid-July. I'd give it a week. Because I don't think that you're going to be like, wow, this is my game. And I'm going to play
So I should wait until a week before I leave to try it?
Yes.
How much of it do I have to play?
I mean, you don't have to play any of it.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think you have to play any of it, but I think you'll be excited to go, and you'll be able to use the excitement of travel to play some of it. Whereas I think if you start now, you won't play any of it.
I won't play any of it. That's fair.
That's what I'm thinking.
Every time I get in there, and by every time I mean the 4 or 5 times I've tried, I go, the bullet jump is good. What am I doing and why? And
I do the MMO thing where it's like, wow, there's so much to do. Oh, but I have to do the boring part of the game to get to any of it, and I don't want to.
Yeah, and every time I talk about Warframe, and someone's going to do it again today, they're going to say, the beginning of the game sucks because I don't know where I'm supposed to go or what they want me to do or how best to make use of the time that I'm spending in the game. And then they say, no, we fixed it. They fixed it, actually. The beginning of the game is great now. And then I start it, and it's functionally the same as it was the last time.
Yeah, they say that about 14 also.
And No Man's Sky, like they say it about every game that has too much stuff in it. Anyway, I'll be in Canada in July.
And in Warframe in early July.
And in Warframe in early July.
Be sure to catch Nikki for the 3 hours that they're online. You have limited chances to find Nikki in Warframe.
Sorry, I had to turn the air conditioning on. It's becoming hot in here. Should we talk about the news, Lotus?
I guess.
MindsEye is great.
Is that?
People love it. Nothing bad is happening with the game. It works. People aren't saying that it is this generation's Assassin's Creed Unity. So it kind of just seems good. No, it's bad, everybody.
Yeah.
It's really very bad. It's aggressively bad. It's an open world game but there's no open world. So that's good. It's really poorly written. It's poorly acted. It's technically a mess. They're handing out refunds on that game like on the PlayStation, like Sony was for Cyberpunk, which means that we are faster, which means that we are only a couple of days from them taking it off of the store. And please God, if I get to live through 2 instances of Sony taking a video game off of the store, that would be incredible. So
Sony's still in live services, but you may get 3 or 4. Look on the bright side.
I didn't even think about Concord being taken off of the store as them taking it off of the store. And I don't know
there's
why
also like Hyenas, which kind of halfway counts, I think.
Oh, that does halfway. Did it ever hit the store though?
No. That's why I say only halfway.
Yeah, I think it's got to come out and then they have to say, just kidding.
With the way Sony is going with their live services, I think you could get a 4th, maybe even a 5th.
Hell yeah. Fingers crossed. Yeah, no, it's tough. Someone earlier, I think actually it might be one of the Hive questions. Someone was like, John should play it. No, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
Actually.
But the important part of the question was, how do we make John play it? You'll play it of your own volition, so they're not interested.
True. They're not interested. That's so fair. I'm going to play it for the website. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, you very strategically asked John as he was going under if you could expense it.
Yeah. Which is so funny because there's no expense system.
No, there isn't.
I don't know how I'm going to collect on the $59.99 that I gave Build a Rocket Boy because they didn't give anybody code other than people that they paid.
Yes. Streamers.
So that's good. That's a good sign. Are you going to play it? Are you going to pick it up? Lotus, I know you love these kinds of... Oh.
I don't think so.
Okay. Are you sure?
Well, maybe once the UGC, user-generated content, takes off for this epic new platform everywhere.
Yeah,
perhaps I could be convinced.
That's really smart. They could put something that you like in there.
Yeah. They could put the entirety of Gmod in there. I'd go, wow, I love the hidden, and I always have.
Always have.
Finally, a new way to play the hidden.
Never have not liked this. What else? They sold a lot of Switch 2s.
They did. Game consoles are strange.
Yeah, really weird. It went from there won't be any of these anywhere to
there's way too many.
Actually just walk into Target.
Every Best Buy has a warehouse full of Nintendo Switch 2s that no one is using.
Which feels impossible. Because again, the narrative was we've shipped a bunch of them already to America. but also everybody pre-ordered one and they're gone.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who has one who doesn't do this for a living, which is weird.
Is that true for me? I think that is also true for me because, and I was having a conversation with one of those people because they were under the impression that they weren't going to be able to get one.
Yes.
Because they're not plugged in. Like the idea that like they bought their consoles during their Switches during the pandemic. If they hadn't purchased it prior, they all bought it on Amazon during the pandemic, right? So it was just like, you want the thing, you go buy the thing. Nobody is checking to make sure that they're in stock or not. But with this, it was like you had to do some work, and regular people aren't going to do that work.
No, that, and I also think regular people living in regular sized cities probably know that they're just going to have them. Like living in Corpus Christi, Texas, I never had a concern that there would not be enough Switches around.
No, for sure.
Even though there's one GameStop where in the area that I lived in.
Yeah, no, there are. I can throw a rock at 2 different Targets that had them.
But don't say that, Nick. You're in LA. They're watching.
Oh, shit. I can't throw anything anywhere at anything.
Never.
Never have. Never will. They have sold the Wii U sold insert number. I didn't really research, but because I never do. But the Switch 2 has already sold a quarter of the total number of Wii U's that Nintendo sold. It's been 1 week.
Yeah.
So that's nuts. That's just like, what can you do? It is an unbelievably underwhelming experience using the Nintendo Switch 2. Not in a way that's like, it's not bad.
It's just the Nintendo
It is
Switch.
just the Nintendo. Like, it is just the Switch. It doesn't feel like it does anything differently. It does things better for sure. But like, you play Mario Kart and then you're like, okay, well, I guess that's it. My sister came over today. We played Mario Kart for a while, and then I showed her Zelda, and she was like, I've never seen this game before. So I was like, oh, so you don't understand how much better it looks? And she said, no. And I said, okay, do you want to play Switch Sports? And then we played Switch Sports for an hour and a half. It's just
almost as if.
It's almost as if it's just another Switch. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you think you're going to pick one up anytime soon, Lotus? Or are you going to wait?
I don't know if I'll get one at all unless I need to for work or something, which if they ask me to play it, we have plenty of people who have Switches is what I'll say. Cause I didn't particularly care for the experience of owning the Switch one. Like I'm very happy that people's favorite games are now running so well. Yeah. I think that the state that they released in was unacceptable, which is why I don't have my first Switch anymore. So like I'm kind of burned on them and I don't really care.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I have to listen to another person go, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are great now, I'm gonna fucking explode.
That's the one that's so crazy to me.
It's like,
they still look bad.
They still look. The only thing that's different is that it runs at 60 frames a second. That's it. The game still looks bad because there's no art direction. It's empty.
Yes.
And the game itself is boring.
Yes.
Like they didn't fix any of the stuff. And now we're like, the game's press is trying to do like revisionist. Actually, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were good the whole time. The only thing that was bad was the way it looked and the way it ran. Huh?
Yeah, and it's interesting because even for the people who are really hot on Scarlet Violet, when that game came out, it wasn't, this is the best Pokemon game ever. It's, this game is awesome for 6 hours and then an absolute fucking slog for 12, and then the ending's decent, and people have gotten really into the competitive again because of terrestrialization.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it. There's an Ed Sheeran song baked into the video game. I told you about my Scarvi story. I stopped that game and I gave up. I was just like, I'm not having a good time. I'm done with it. I was in front of the person that I needed to talk to start the end game. So I picked it up after and I did the end game and I was like, wow, that sucked. And then the credits song is by Edward Sheeran. And then I turned it off and uninstalled it.
This is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
Yes.
It's Eduardo Sheeran. Thank you.
Sorry, Eduardo Ishirin. Anyway, bad game. Bad game. Please don't say that it's good. You're lying to yourself.
They've been making the same game for a long time, and we simply have to have higher standards.
We have to. And it's like Game Freak announced a game that I've already forgotten the name of during
Beasts of
Tomorrow. New game.
It's like Reincarnation game. Or something like that.
That's exactly right, Lotus. It is Beast of Reincarnation. And it's from Game Freak, and it seems as if they downloaded Unreal to make it. Which, I mean, it looks like a game that's in Unreal.
For sure. It does have an art direction.
But there is an
nice.
Art direction, and that is good. Is the frame rate good? No.
Not in that trailer.
Not in the trailer, which, gang, we've been making video game trailers for quite a while. You got to make sure if it's framey, don't put it in.
Yeah.
You make the trailer.
With the way UE5 is, I don't even know if you can, though. That engine just
sucks.
There's a lot to it. Well, the thing is, like, in particular, the engine has a look to it that I don't like. Its default look, I think, looks really bad. Hair in Unreal Engine 5 looks atrocious.
Yes.
Claire Obscure is an ugly fucking game, and it's because all of the characters have full heads of hair, and it's a UE5 game.
Yeah.
They look like they have pipe cleaners.
Yes.
All over
as hair. And it's like the thing I think about UE5, they really are chasing this, like, what if it looked like real? It's like, no, but no, it doesn't. Then it doesn't. Like we are in the same, we are going to look back, I think, at this generation of Unreal the same way we looked back at the like Xbox 360 PS3 launch window where every game was brown and gray.
Yes.
And like you look at a game and you're like, that game came out in 2007.
100%.
You're going to look at an Unreal, like in 10 years, we will, if we are around, we will look at games in UE that were made in UE5 and say, wow, that game came out in 2024 or 2025.
And the thing is, Nikki, I'm already doing that.
No, for sure. Right. Like these games.
It's so obvious.
Yes.
The art style is Unreal Engine 5.
Yes.
You look at the Silent Hill 2 remake and you go, it's Unreal Engine 5. Oh, it looks real now.
Yeah.
The art style is it looks real now.
It looks real now. And that's not, it doesn't. It doesn't and it never does. The only good game, I'm trying to think, are there good games in UE5?
There's only like games? 10 of them so far.
Do you think we can come up with that list?
If you Google Unreal Engine 5 games?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Games made in UE5.
I think some of the difficulty of it is because of when UE5 came out, there's teams who switched to UE5 in the middle of development.
Yes.
So those games might look okay because they were making them as if they were making a real game and not a UE5 game.
Not a UE5 game, yeah. Hot Wheels Unleashed Turbocharged.
Okay.
Fortnite.
Of course. I guess a lot of stuff on UEFN is UE5, technically.
Tekken 8.
Oh, that's right.
Does that game look good?
I would say yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, Tekken doesn't exactly have a lot of competition in the looking good department because every fighting game is the ugliest fucking thing anyone has ever seen.
Yeah. Did you like the way that Marvel one looked, though?
Yes, that one looks nice. That is Arc Sys. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That could be UE5, and they just are like, well, we'll keep doing the same thing.
Arc.
But in the new one.
What's that game called? Marvel.
Tokon Fighters.
Tokon Engine.
Yeah, I was watching. I have a friend who's really into Street Fighter, and I just watch them occasionally in like Discord and stuff. And I'm like, I can't get over how Street Fighter was cream of the crop, number one of the most beautiful games, period, to ever exist for its first 3 installments. And by 3 installments, I mean 20, but they were numbered 1 through 3.
Yep.
And then it looks horrible.
It's a
horrible looking game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this game looks better than the last one by a lot. And it's still really horrible looking.
It's still tough, yeah.
Tekken 8, I think, looks good. I think it's a decent medium between anime nonsense and looking quote-unquote real. The one thing that's really tough is it's like man muscle. Men are muscular, and because they're anime men, they have muscles on muscles. Yeah. Watching, I think it's Law, which, again, still extremely funny to this day. His name is Martial Law.
Marshall, that's really good. It's a good bit.
Law's intro, one of his intros, is just him like puffing up his cheeks because he's flexing so hard.
Ugh.
And all of his muscles he looks like not even like a dodgeball, but like all of his muscles look like actual ropes going all across the interior of his skin. It doesn't look like muscles. It is disgusting.
Vile. The human body is disgusting.
But the human body doesn't even do that. They said, what if it got worse?
What if it got worse?
Ugh.
I'm looking at this list still. Avowed. Some of Avowed looks good, but then other parts of Avowed look like Unreal Engine 5. And that feels like it was because it was, like you said, started before it was UE5.
Yeah. The skin is really tough in that game.
Yes. The skin is really tough in that game. The hair is okay.
I heard the hair is pretty good. Yeah. So the skin and any kind of smooth thing, sometimes including characters.
Yes.
That green guy looks awful.
The green guy does not look good. He's so shiny. The scales are not scaly. It looks like a kid picks. Yeah. My phone just turned off. It looks like
he looks like those little jelly Martians you could make.
Yes, that's exactly right. Okay. I'm trying to see if anything else on here looks good. No. So that's good.
You know, every time we get it looks great. I like the AI.
I like the AI. What else is happening? Anything else? Why did we start talking about Unreal Engine 5? Oh, because we were talking about the Switch 2.
Yeah, we were talking about the Switch 2, and then we talked about Scarlet Violet, and then we talked about Game Freak's new game, Beast of Reincarnation.
That's right.
And we got to UE5. And I'm always down to hate on UE5.
No, fuck UE5. They're making another Silent Hill. Are you excited?
They're remaking this one for the second time. That's how you know it's worth it.
Oh, it's a remake? It's not even new?
They are remaking Silent Hill 1, which they have crucially already done at least once.
Oh, okay. And this is still the kid runs into the wall, falls over team, right?
Yes. Well, everyone was so excited about how good a job they did on Silent Hill 2 Remake, the Unreal Engine 5 game that has virtually nothing to do with Silent Hill 2 and will permanently make the original version that everyone actually likes unplayable. Mm-hmm. So they're doing another one. Mm-hmm. Everybody say thank you, Konami.
Thank you, Konami.
Konami and Bloober Team.
Yeah. Match made in heaven.
In a way, I guess it is.
Yeah, good for them. They also announced a bunch of stuff. Konami, a handful of studios did this. They said, well, all this stuff is happening last week. So what we'll do is we'll do it this week is when we'll announce all of our stuff, which is like, I think okay.
I don't think it's a bad decision. That's something I was thinking about when trying to catch up on showcases is like, there's not a single normal human being on earth who can keep up with all of this stuff.
No.
Because I can barely keep up and it's technically my job.
Yeah. Yeah, so I work here.
I work here. And there's no reasonable way that any person could be watching this. And so I'm like, wondering about the future economics of Summer Game Fest and if for smaller games it is even worth it being here anymore.
No, probably not.
It probably hasn't.
It costs a lot. Like it costs so much to be in the big showcases.
It costs a lot. And sometimes it seems that you're told that you're being in a big showcase and then you don't end up in that big showcase. That was interesting. Hey, Roman Sands Rebuild is coming out on September 12th, everyone. And they also announced that Paratopic is getting a remake / sequel / pack-in triple package on the same date. So that's exciting.
That's great. And was that in the IGN beforehand where they were actively like, listen, none of these games matter, which is a crazy thing for them to say considering they got paid about it.
It's crazy. Just to make this super clear for anyone who doesn't know, IGN has a show called IGN Live that they do once a day, every day during Summer Game Fest. And
which is so separate from SGF,
but somehow also involved with it. It's so awkward.
It's a weird relationship.
It's like a 3D Venn diagram that doesn't connect from certain angles. It's so odd. crucially, in years past, what they would do is they would have a pre-show, like a lot of people do, where for an hour the stream is up, a countdown is on, and they're just playing like random trailers. Like if it had gone on normal style this year, they would have played like the first Superman trailer that was already out, and a bunch of shit like that. Instead, this year, that pre-show was occupied by exclusive announcements, including the opening section of the pre-show stream was like 10 minutes of movie and TV stuff that was all exclusive.
Yeah.
And then they went into game stuff. And the entire time, I think 2 presenters appeared for maybe a combined total of 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And in the top right corner, there was always a thing that said IGN pre-show and had a countdown, making it very clear to you, the viewer who's just joining, that this is not worth watching. This is just a pre-show. Nothing real is happening.
Yes.
Even though
very explicit real stuff was happening.
Real exclusive stuff.
No one made them do that.
That is never going to be mentioned anywhere else.
No, like no one made them.
They didn't do it last year.
Yeah. Like, it's such a weird choice. And it's like, I understand from their perspective, right? Because I know how these shows get put together. It simply is, we are set when we sell it, we have multiple price points for you. If you want to be in the pre-show, it is cheaper. If you want to have a segment after the show where people put their hands on it and play it, that's cheaper. But if you want to be in the big thing, it's more expensive. Except this year, they were like, well, actually, we'll sell all of it at the same rate and we'll just organize some of it to be in the pre-show.
Yeah, it really seems like a lot of people were told they were going to be in the main show.
Yes.
And it would appear that the way IGN structured things was that they considered everything to be the main show somehow. Yes,
somehow. Which I
don't get it.
No one made you do it. That's all Michael's fault. So
I wish I had a full list of everything.
Just let him know that was all him. He was involved every step of the way. He was wearing the headset. He was on the screen. Whenever you saw Sidney Goodman, that was him. So that's on him. And also fascism. That's happening too.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Happening live.
I don't really have the bandwidth mentally, I don't think, to talk about it. Tough though, huh?
Pretty tough, some might say. When I think about the United States' rapid descent into fascism, the first word that comes to mind is, ooh, tough.
Ooh, that's tough.
A really tough one, folks.
That's tough. I don't know.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
No, like a lot, I guess.
A lot, apparently.
A lot. I don't know.
It doesn't seem to be doing great, I gotta say.
No.
Not to be, I guess, technically an optimist, or not to be flippant, let me say. It doesn't seem to be working very well.
No, that's the thing that I don't really understand is from a, like, they can't do it right. Yeah.
It's almost as if.
You, like, not to be crazy.
Right.
It's not hard to do. If you're going to do.
I think Nikki clicked some kind of button.
They fucking got me.
It's because you were talking about them targets earlier.
They fucking that's exactly right. No, it's not. If you're going to do an oppression and you are the state, it actually is not difficult.
No.
It's really easy.
We've done it a bunch of times.
We've done it so many times.
In other countries.
So then to be in a situation where you're getting got by people who have modified fire extinguishers to shoot paint like it's Splatoon, and you're getting pushed back and you're like, well, there's nothing to be done. Gang, I don't know what the fuck I don't know. Do better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a cop, and I have to say I don't think I ever will be a cop. But also, if it was like, that's so brave of me to say, I know, really brave. If I was like, I get paid, like I'm a Marine. Yeah, I get paid $35,000 a year, and in 10 years after I get my leg blown off, they might give me a Camaro. And you want me to deal with this shit? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm simply not gonna. I'm simply gonna stand there and not.
No, stand there and not do anything. So. I think, like, if you are searching for any sense of hope, I guess, in the face of this thing that very obviously and very clearly is bad, understand that the people who are trying to do the violence and are doing the violence are so unbelievably incompetent that they can't do it well. So if you look to your left and to your right, which is the thing that I was talking about on the Giant Bomb couch, and are like, okay, well, how do I help the people next to me? That is going to do much more for you and your community than it is going, and those bonds that you create will be stronger than anything that the institutions that are trying to break those bonds are going to be able to muster. So yeah.
Importantly, part of the incompetence is on the optimistic side, because a lot of people who were very competent said this is horseshit and left. Because they simply decided not to be a part of it.
Which is like, no, like, no.
How do you do it this bad?
Like, that's like the person who was in charge of the Consumer Protection Agency quit this week. I was like, no, you understand who you're getting replaced. You quitting does not mean that the organization goes away. They're going to put someone worse in there. You could do nothing for longer. Elected officials will not save us.
No.
So stop thinking that they will. Except vote for Zoran. If you live in New York City, you should do that. And don't vote for anybody else. Just put one in that. I don't know how ranked choice works, TBH. But I think if you just put one and then leave the rest of them empty, I think that's a good way to move. I don't know how ranked choice. Do you know how ranked choice works?
No. They barely let me vote.
That's so real. That's so real, Lotus. Time for the games section where we talk about the video games that we have been playing. Lotus, it says here that you've been playing Steam Next Fest demos, including a game called Panthalassa and Roots Devour. Please tell me about those.
Thank you, Robo Nikki.
I'm auditioning for IGN. Oh.
I plead the fifth. No, I've been playing a lot of Next Fest demos. These are like the two I wanted to talk about. I still have a jillion more to play because that is always how this works. But yeah, I guess we'll start with Panthalassa, which doesn't, if you look up a trailer, it doesn't actually appear to be a video game, which is a really good sign, IMO, of like a game that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, keywords, Fruitiger arrow and blah, blah, blah. But
SEO is pretty bad on it though, because I'm on Wikipedia now, and it says Panthalassa was the vast super ocean that encompassed planet Earth and surrounded the supercontinent Pangea. Is that what it's about?
Allegedly. I think the name is related. Because you start out, you're the AI inside of an ROV or something, and you crash into a mysterious underground hyper advanced AI alien station thing. And the game is all about like old school point and click edutainment game style, just clicking on buttons and pulling levers and trying to figure out how all the weird little alien devices work, and talking to a bunch of strange robots who some of whom don't seem to know what's going on literally at all.
Great. That's awesome.
You get to take pictures of fish. Well, you don't really take pictures. You zoom in on them with a binocular on the station, and that's fun. That's
fun. This looks like what if people who have fucked before made a humongous entertainment game.
Exactly. It's just click. I like to get on the computer and click my mouse.
Fucking click, dude. That's what it's for.
That's what it's for. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting.
Add to library.
Yeah.
Great.
It is.
Steam
I hope it gets similar.
Steam says it's similar to Blueprints. Is that true?
I mean, I liked it, so I don't.
Tell me about Roots Devour.
Roots Devour is interesting. It is, I want to say it's a Chinese game. I don't 100% remember, but I think that's right. It is vaguely card-based, but it's not deck builder card-based, although there is a deck in it. It's like a board game card-based, more like.
Okay.
Where like the most realistic comp for it is probably Darkwood, which I don't think you've played because it's a horror game and you wouldn't like it.
Spooky.
Yeah, but it's a top-down game where you kind of you have a starting point where you are like the tree from the Evil Dead, where like your goal is to reach out tentacly spikes and grab stuff and bleed it.
Guys.
And every time you do that, you can jump to the next thing and the next thing. And it's like shockingly story focused so far. I think the idea of trying to spread out efficiently, not for the sake of efficiency or for the sake of completionism, but to get to other areas of the level to meet different characters or like figure out what's going on is really entertaining. I don't know if they'll stick the landing on that one. There's a little bit of RNG involved. It's like technically a roguelite in a way that I find odd. It's okay. But yeah, I liked what I played of it so far. There's like that really interesting thing that happens when you not 100% perfectly translate Chinese or Japanese into English, where the shit goes hard but doesn't totally make sense, but it's worth it.
No, but the word, like it's like, wow, what a cool way. No one who speaks this language natively would put the words together this way.
Yes,
but it bangs that you have done it this way.
Yeah, it could be a little obtuse because of that at times, but I think it was mostly very interesting. So
sick.
Interested to see how it goes. Nice art style, black and white and red.
Yeah, this game looks cool. It's called Roots Devour.
Yeah, Panthalassa and Roots Devour. Those are my two that I like the most.
I am right now looking at some embargoes so I can say which games I can talk about and which ones I can't. I can talk about this. Okay, that's awesome. I can't talk about that one. And I can't talk about King of Meat.
Now,
here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. The stuff I wrote down, I haven't talked about, but also that game has been at the last two of these.
It also, I believe, critically has been a major commercial in multiple recent things.
But the embargo's on the 24th is what I've written down here. Sonic, I know, is up. Lego, I know, is up. And Escape Academy 2 and Lumines are up. So, folks, it's time to tell you
whatever the other ones were.
It's time for me to tell you why. Unfortunately, because I'm a good podcaster, I'm going to make everybody sit through the ones they don't want to listen to before I get to the one that you do want to hear about, which is Lumines. So we will start with that.
How much more could you tell me about Lumines? Fuck you.
Okay, fine. We'll start with Lumines. Remember Tetris Effect?
Hey, remember Lumines?
Yeah, do you remember Lumines? Okay. That's it. They put them together. So if you like Tetris Effect and you like Lumines, great news. They've made one of those. I sat down. The vocal track. Yeah, it's got all. It's the Lotus. It's the same game.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, it's the same game. Which isn't. I need to be so clear. Not a complaint. Not a complaint. Tetris Effect all timer. This game is going to also be an all-timer. Like, I don't know. I played 30 minutes and I played the same 2 levels for a half hour and I walked away from it. I was like, that's the best thing I've ever played. Diego Arguello wrote a lovely article, preview explanation talking about the game on VGBs.com. And there's a couple of other articles also on that website about other games that Diego played. I did play FBC Firebreak, though, which is the 3-person cooperative multiplayer not Team Fortress, Left 4 Dead-like co-op shooter based in the Control universe from the Remedy team. It is actually, I just said it's Left 4 Dead, and it is kind of Left 4 Dead, but it is much less Left 4 Dead than I thought. There's a lot of systems in it. It's like very systemic, like systems driven. There's a bunch of status effects and there are 3 classes that you can be, and each of those classes is in charge of one of those status effects. And then those status effects influence the way that the map works. So we played on this level where there were a bunch of Post-it notes all over the room in the office.
They talked about it a lot.
Yeah, they talked about it a lot. And it was kind of honestly shocking to me that that's the level they had us play, because of how much they have talked about it, but whatever.
I guess that's true.
It's the one that's done. But also I got code for the game today, so unclear. The post-it notes, you get the post-it notes wet. They take damage easier. You clear off the post-it notes from the wall. You do that part of the job. Then you progress to a more of a traditional Left 4 Dead. You run around, you shoot some guys. And if you get too many post-it notes on you, you turn into a boss that your friends have to fight in order to free you before they can revive you. It seems like a good one of these. One of the things that the producer, whose name I've forgotten, I'm sorry, who was leading the demo, was they said very specifically that they wanted to respect how much time you had. So they were like, you can get in and get out in 15 minutes if that's how much time you have. Or if you want to sit down for a couple of hours, that's also okay. You can change the length of the jobs. So that's cool. Updates are coming. All the post-game content is free. I'm just reading you my notes now. Mm-hmm. The only paid stuff is cosmetics. So that's good. And that's probably because they got the bag from Microsoft and Sony, because this game is in Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra and whatever the fuck. So it doesn't matter if the game sells well. Is kind of also, my understanding.
Part of it is realizing how rapidly and negatively the broad consumer base reacts to anything other than even the presence of MTX, but especially anything other than MTX being paid is, I think it's increasingly being made as a long-term business decision.
Yes.
For games that are not going to be Fortnite.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really nuts that Fortnite is the only one. It's the exception, smaller teams, I think, are understanding this, but bigger teams are not, which is something that we've talked about on this show many times. So many things, so many big studios, EAs, Activisions are trying to be Fortnite, not understanding that there is one Fortnite and it is Fortnite. So you have to do something different. And if you try to do the same thing, it's not going to work. I played Dosa Divas, which is from the Thirsty Suitors folks, Outer Loop. I liked Thirsty Suitors a lot. It is a game that I did get to the point where I was like, I get it. So I felt not bad about putting it down, which isn't like a knock on the game, like literally at all. But I was like, I understand what it's saying. I like the things that it's saying. I probably should be playing something else. But this game is closer to a Paper Mario than Dosa Diva or than Thirsty Suitors was. And I like a Paper Mario. It's turn-based combat where you have in combat actions, like timed actions that make you do better. There's like 3D exploration spaces. And the thing that is cool about this game is that when you're running around the open world, it's not really an open world. You're running around the map. You're picking up ingredients, and then there is a Mario Party mini game-esque like spirit world zone that you go into with your sister and your god robot. And you hang out in that zone and you make dosa. And depending on what ingredients you picked up, the dosa does different things, and it changes the effects that that you have when you enter a battle. All of the food, the setup for the game is that all food, home cooking is basically illegal because your third sister is the president of this food slop company that makes all the food in tubes.
Everything is Soylent Green and the roach bars from Snowpiercer. Yes,
it's exactly right. So that comes out in early 2026. That was a demo that I played, and I was like, seems like this one's pretty close, gang.
It seems like it's maybe
seems
done.
Like this one's pretty close. Because I think I might have mentioned this on Woo Hit, but like the demo that I played was so polished that it had an in-game 30-minute timer that before I hit when I hit A, before the timer started, I watched a cutscene. Then the cutscene ended. Then my timer started. At the end of the 30 minutes, I then watched a second trailer for the video game, and then it kicked itself back to the main menu to start the next person. And I was like, gang, you've had time to do this one. This isn't a vertical slice you're running over to play days with. Like, I think this game was supposed to come out in the fall. You said we've got to push it for GTA, and now it is. Sorry. I played Toem 2. You ever heard of Toem?
Love Toem.
Lotus.
Girl, I was Toem, number one Toem promoter.
Yes.
when that game came out.
I also really like that game. This game, it's more of the same. Like really in a way that's not a bad thing. Like it's more of the same. I think the game looks much better, which is not to say that I thought the first one didn't look good, but I like this like 2D, 3D. Legs are weird. I kind of like it. Like I like how weird they are, because I think there are not very many video games that look like Toem 2 does. So any choice that they make, I'm kind of like, yeah, you get to do that because you're the only one that's doing it like this. They look funny. Like the legs look goofy and funny. If you're not familiar, it's a game where you run around and your main mode of interaction is by taking pictures. You're doing little quests for NPCs around the map. I ran into this troll, and the troll was like, I want to see 3 goats. Mm-hmm. So then you ran around to these like very like intricately put together little they feel like dioramas now that they're in 3D. And I found these goats ending on a hill, and then I had to like line up the shots so I could get all 3 goats. So the goats kept moving. So there were a couple of shots that I wasted where there were only 1 goat, there were only 2 goats. Eventually I got the 3rd goat. I ran over and he was like, thank you so much. And that's all you get. There's no like, there's no like, oh, like here, like I'm a higher level. It's like, no, you're doing these little favors. You're doing these little things for these people in a way that's really delightful. My other favorite one, I don't want to blow the whole thing, but like there's a huge like Rapunzel-esque tower, right? There's a guy at the bottom who is yelling up at the tower to be like, please, please, please let me up. I just want to see how pretty you are. And then you run around the back and there's just very clearly just like a little jumping puzzle, and you jump up to the top and there's nobody up there, but there's a chest in there and it has a princess hat. So you put the princess hat on and you jump out of the tower, and then you get downstairs and the guy's like, wow, the princess came out. And then he's like, oh, wait, no, it's you from before. Nobody's up there, huh? And you say, nope. And he goes, all right, I'm going to go. And then he leaves.
Yeah, the game has a very good sense of humor without ever trying. I think it's too hard to be funny because like I've been thinking about this so much for various reasons, but mostly due to many of the trailers we watched, which is that if you're not funny, don't try to be funny. And even if you are funny, consider not trying to be funny. Yeah,
don't try to write a joke.
Yeah, Toem has the vibe of that, which is that they are funny, but they decided to just make a game that was nice, and then occasionally they thought of a joke and put it into the game. Yeah. Sometimes with no fanfare or ceremony whatsoever. No. A joke will casually pass you by in Toem, which is good. Just tell me the joke and shut up.
And that's how jokes work. Don't let me sit in it.
No one's going to clap, bud.
No one's clapping. You can't hear it. It's a video game. Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I played this game right after playing Mario Kart for an hour and a half. And the thing I wrote down first is TBH feels better than Mario Kart World. And I've played more Mario Kart, and I still think I might feel that way.
That doesn't entirely surprise me. One thing about the Sonic Crossworld team is that they have been making initial D games for 20 years.
Yeah, so the drifting feels really good.
I thought that we will maybe get into it more because you haven't played so much Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
But that game doesn't look like it feels as good as Mario Kart 8
It
to
doesn't.
me.
That's because it doesn't, Lotus.
And it looks very slow.
It's because it is, Lotus.
Okay. So I don't need the Nintendo Switch 2 is what you're
doing. Nah. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, it's really pretty. It's one of those situations where like I played it on an OLED TV because all of the TVs at Summer Game Fest are OLED. And then I was like, wait, I might as well be looking at a wall when I play video games because this looks insane. Framey, the game's not done yet, but there was that. I wrote down tracks incentivize drifting in a really fun way. There are so many curves. There are so few straightaways. One of the things, and I'll talk about it when I talk about Mario Kart, you are going straight in Mario Kart so much, and you aren't going fast when you go straight. So it feels like you're not moving. You're always moving.
You're running in a dream.
Yes, exact. That's such a good way to talk about it. Like that's exactly what it feels like in Sonic Racing Crossworlds, you are constantly drifting, you are constantly moving forward. Something is always happening, and not from a like there's other racers throwing shit at you. Yes, that stuff also happens, but like
it could just be a racing game. Also.
It could just be yes, exactly.
I like their previous game a lot. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform.
Yes,
that game felt extremely good to play.
Yes, really, really good. And I didn't play Sonic Team Racing, which I think was the one that was in between those two. But Sonic right. All-Stars Racing Transformed it's better than whatever Mario Kart was out at the time.
I mean, it was 8 because that game's been out for 15 years.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm exaggerating, but I think it's over 10.
It's 10. I think it's like 12 years old.
Something like that.
That's nuts. There's a lot of customization. There's more customization in this than there is in Mario Kart.
Did you see SpongeBob?
Spyongbib, not in there, not confirmed yet, but he's coming. But I did play as Cream and Cheese.
Oh, I forgot that they're in there. For the Sonic heads, that's huge.
That's huge.
Which I
Cream
think
and
is
Cheese
so
are in there.
She's so cute.
Yes, I played as her. She talked about Mother and Amy a lot.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. No, if only I had a Mother and an Amy, you know? How nice that would be. The thing about this game is that it has a perk system, not unlike the pick 10 system in Call of Duty. Which also FBC Firebrick has a similar system. I didn't mention. It's really cool. So you get 10 slots and there's all of these perks, and you can have a normal perk, a upgraded perk, or the most upgraded perk in FBC. And if you have the most upgraded perk, then everyone on your squad gets that perk. So it's a trade-off because you have less, but then everyone has it. So there's that. In this, it's pretty similar. You get a card that has 6 slots, and each of the perks that you can pick are worth anywhere between 1 and 3 slots. So you can stack them in different configurations, 1 through 6, and they are really playstyle altering. So they had the laminated card that every one of these stations has that tells you what the controls are and what the game is about. They had a couple of default ones. And the PR person, Alexa, was like, here is the one that I play as is that it's this. And she pointed at it. And it was, if you hit anybody, you get rings. If you hit anybody, you get a speed boost. And if they hit you, they slow down. So you're incentivized then when you have that in your loadout to just bash into people because you go faster when you hit people. But the downside is that if you're too far ahead, there's nobody for you to hit.
Right.
So they're all the balance of it actually did feel really cool. There was another one that was it just actively lets you fuck with the rubber banding. There's one that's a fast start and there's one that's a slow start. So I was playing the slow start one. So on laps 1 and 2, your stats are terrible. By the time you hit the 3rd lap, they just crank all your stats up to 300% and you're just faster. So it makes it like damage mitigation on the first 2 laps. And then the 3rd lap is okay, now I'm going faster. It's time for me to win. And that manipulation of the rubber banding actually felt really good.
That's cool.
The 2nd lap in all of these races is always on a different course, which is really cool. That's the Crossworlds of it.
I see.
So it's you start on the default course and then you go through a ring at the end of the 1st lap, beginning of the 2nd lap. Whoever's in front gets to pick between 2 different tracks.
So it's a true mix and match. Yes. It's not it's always 1 and 3.
No.
Random.
It picks from any of the tracks in the suite. So
that's cool.
Then that 2nd lap is on a completely different track, and then the 3rd lap is a modified version of that 1st lap. So I played on Metal Harbor from Sonic Adventure 2, which that has a sick remix. The reorchestration that they did for Metal Harbor is really good. And the whole time it was kind of exciting because it was like I played the game for an hour. I never actually got to pick. I wasn't very good. I never got to pick because I was on the hardest difficulty. I was like, 150cc or whatever the equivalent is. Time to go.
Having not played Mario Kart World for an hour today. Calm down. Okay, I know what the fuck I'm doing.
I had no idea. So I was never in first place at the end of the first lap. So the computer was always picking the courses.
First place gets to pick.
First place gets to pick. And
was there ever any kind of not roulette, or it could be roulette or a vote?
There is a random one.
Okay.
So sometimes it was like, here's one that's very obvious, and I would be on the straightaway, and I would watch Tails be like, time to go to the random one, and it would take you to an ice level after being on a fire level. That was cool. I don't know when it comes out. Soon, probably this fall, I think.
With all the cards and stuff, do you have other vehicles or not?
Yes, there's a bunch of vehicles and there's a bunch of wheels, and they all have different effects. You can change the front of the car and the back of the car and the wheel. So each part has 3 things. Miku's in it.
I saw that.
That was the character that was in there. So that's good.
Miku also in Rift of the Necrodancer.
Good for her. Finally.
So funny. They showed a silhouette and it was like, who could this be? And it's like, well, I see a fucking leak. So somehow I think it might be Miku.
Good for her. Happy for her.
It's a good bit.
Finally, she's getting a check. I played Lego Party, which Lotus is just Mario Party. In a way that is like...
just Mario Party.
It's just Mario Party. In a way that's like, it feels past Shameless somehow. I don't know how it's like post Shameless. Like they just were like, we're going to just make a Mario Party. And then they said, okay. And then they made a Mario Party. There's nothing to say about it. It's fast. I will say it is really quick. The things that they do change is that the turn order is not dictated at the beginning of the game. It is dictated by your placement in the mini games. So it's different. It could be different every single time. So if you place in first in the mini game, then it is immediately your turn. If you're second in the mini game, then it's next, and then it rotates every single round. We got through a full game in 45 minutes.
God bless.
And that felt awesome. Like it was.
There's nothing worse than being trapped in a Mario Party game that you no longer want to participate in.
By the time I was done, the game was over.
Yeah.
And I was like, sick. Like that's exactly how it should go. And there are options, obviously, if you're a sicko and you want to be in there for 2 hours, I'm sure you could be. But when we sat down, we played the game for 45 minutes. I understood the breadth of the game, which is it's just Mario Party. And then we walked away, and I felt like I understood.
What's your mini games rating?
The mini games are all right. There was one mini game that was just trials, which I thought was cute. There's another one where it is also kind of just trials, except you're driving a forklift and there's 9 Lego bricks on the end of the forklift, but the map is hilly. Okay. And your goal is to be both in front and have the most bricks on the forklift.
It's the spoon egg race.
It's the spoon egg race, yes. So that was good. There was another one where you were driving a cart from point A to point B, and there were obstacles on the course, but you controlled the vehicle via the face buttons. So like triangle and circle controlled the front wheels, and square and X controlled the back wheels, and you had to navigate your way through the map that way. It's just they're going to sell a billion copies of this.
And I hope they do.
I hope they do. The nice Australian man whose game I think it is was very excited to have people be playing it. And I always like that. Oh yeah.
I'm sure that team has been in a freezer for the last 2 years, just making the game, not allowed to talk to a single soul.
Yeah. Not allowed to talk to anybody. So it's like, I think that like, for as many problems as I think I have with Monsieur Keeley, and I think actually a lot of this is I am 8-bits doing, so I don't know how much credit to give him, but
how much negative credit?
Well, no, positive credit.
I see what you're saying.
I think like there's, in a way, I only went to one E3, but I've been to a bunch of PAXs, and I like have been around these E3s, and I've listened to the way that people talk about them. At E3 in the past, you were not, unless you were in a closed door meeting, you were not next to the people who made the video game.
Yes.
With play days, because it is so small, because the space is so small, you can see every other game on the floor. you are sitting next to the person who made the game. Like the PR person is around for sure, but like I sat next to the TOEM 2, the people who were in that video for TOEM 2, like they were next to me. When I played Escape Academy 2, which I'll talk about in a second, like Jacob, one of the lead producers on the game, the person I was sat next to got up in the middle of it because I had a different appointment. So Jacob, who was lovely, sat down and like was like, I won't give you any hints, but I just kind of want to watch you play the game. And I was like, absolutely. And we chatted about the game and it was really, really nice. So again, I talk about this because it was really awesome to see that team be excited about people having a good time playing the video game that they had been working on. Yeah. Because it was definitely the crowd favorite. It was the one that was getting like people yelling and screaming and cheering because it's Mario Party. There was something to win. You could win candy and Tim Tams, and I got Tim Tams even though because I asked nicely, even though I didn't win. But the thing that you won was a very small Lego trophy, like a gold Lego trophy, and I was like how nice. Like when you activate in these kinds of ways, I do think it kind of goes. And then the last game I did was Escape Academy 2, which is a game I did not know existed. That was like the first true surprise for me of the weekend. I love Escape Academy 1. It is an all-timer for me. I think we are getting maybe out of the little lurch that we were in for maybe 10 or 15 years where there were no good couch co-op games. I think we might be turning that corner a little bit.
That's something we said while watching SGF. I think when the other Lego game, I think it's called Mini Ventures, which is a couch co-op game, which is that for some reason it took until Hazelight got famous, but the mainstream gaming industry seems to remember that people actually like playing games together. And in fact, that's the only reason most people play video games. Is to be social and to be a part of a thing.
Yes.
And it seems as though we've remembered that all of a sudden. Yeah,
which is great. So Escape Academy 2, if you haven't played the first Escape Academy, it is not to me doing promo for them, but I told my friends who really like escape rooms, they had no idea that it existed. And they went on the PlayStation Store. It's like $9. Go get it.
It's a good game.
It's really good.
You can also play it solo if you want.
You can play it by yourself, and it's still a great experience.
Yeah,
like it's
it
not
doesn't
like you're
feel incomplete.
Out. Yes, but it is better with another person. Like most escape rooms. This game is all the stuff that you liked in Escape Academy, except it's like open world E. So you're on the campus and you can walk from point A to point B instead of teleporting from location to location like you did in the first one. And then there's puzzles in the open world that unlock more stuff and have little side quests. So you run around. So for example, the main quest that we had was to get into the headmaster's office. And there was a big puzzle that we needed to solve for that. There were 3 things. It was like, go get books, go get your locker, blah, 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 blah. Once we got out of the first little room, they were like, okay, you can run around. And there were multiple people who had little quests. So one person wanted chocolate out of the vending machine, except the vending machine was Sudoku. So then you walked up to the vending machine and then you had to do a little Sudoku. I didn't do the Sudoku because I don't understand Sudoku, so I brute forced it.
If there's one thing you know how to do, it's not Sudoku, but it is brute forcing a puzzle.
I'll brute force a puzzle every day. So yeah, I don't know. There's nothing particularly new. I think that format is different, right? Like this is open world walk around, but like, if you like the first one a lot, you'll like,
especially because I spent the first, whatever chunk of my life when I did not have a console, just playing escape room games on www.addictinggames.com.
Good website.
Escape rooms are good. Escape room games are good when they manage to kind of coalesce into something that's not like, I don't know. My only problem with like now that escape rooms are a real life thing that's popular is sometimes I find that they influence escape room games in a bizarre way.
Yes.
Where escape room video games used to always have the quote unquote realism where it's like you're escaping this room with this stuff in it that looks vaguely realistic.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes now the video games will get the physical escape room logic of like, there's a bunch of numbers on the wall.
Yeah.
That's the password.
No, and it's like,
no.
No,
that's
like you can do more. You can do more because it's not real.
Because it's not real.
Yeah. So Escape Academy 2, Go wishlist it. That's what it was my game of the show. I really, really, really liked it.
Yeah, the first game's incredible.
I've also been playing Mario Kart World. I think I'm going to have to probably do a review for that video game, because I have thoughts. I think the open world, and I'll truncate them so we can get to Hive questions so we can get out of here. But the open world is like aggressively bad.
I was very confused upon actually seeing people play it. Because again, as someone who doesn't particularly go here, and who was not intending to play it, I assumed it would be more like Forza. Yeah. And it's not. Oh, Nikki's gone. That's okay. Oh, they're back.
Sorry, I'm back. I had to turn the air off. It was cold. Sorry, what did you say after you thought it was like Forza?
I said, oh, Nikki's gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it is... I don't know. I'm of two minds. It
seems like the open world exists to get you to the tracks.
And that's it.
And not to be its own... It doesn't seem like it's there for any reason.
For any reason, which makes me go... Not and I'm never like this, but it's Nintendo, so I actually feel like it's okay. What the fuck were you doing for 12 years? Straight up,
I had a similar hater thought.
I don't understand. Did they add too much new tech to the game? Yes. Does the driving feel different in this one than it did Mario Kart 8? For sure. That is normal dev cycle stuff. This game took 12 years or whatever for it to come out. And it's called Mario Kart World. The open world bit fucking blows. There's nothing to do. You go around, there are these little P-switch challenges. You click them and then they're like, okay, race from point A to point B, but don't get hit by the snowballs. You drive up a hill and then it's like, great. And you get a sticker. And then the sticker, I don't actually know what the stickers do, because someone told me they go on your car, but I click the sticker that I want, and then I go into the photo mode and rotate around the car, and there's no sticker on the car. And even if there was, that's not a very good,
right?
Like that, I don't want that. There's little hidden challenges that are basically parkour challenges that are okay. None of that is progression, right? To unlock characters. And this is the Nintendo of it. Lotus, actually, do you know how you unlock the NPC characters?
I think I do.
Okay.
Which is that when you're driving around, instead of hitting a question block, sometimes there's little bags of fast food hanging around.
Okay.
And you grab them, and sometimes, but not always, you will turn into either a costume of who you are or a different guy. And is it just that you go, or do you have to end the race as that?
Okay, so there's two different unlock paths.
Yeah.
The mascots, so Mario, Luigi, Peach, Rosalina, have costumes, a variable number of costumes depending on the character. Wario has 8. Rosalina has 5. Confusing. But you drive through the food bags like you were talking about, and sometimes it's random if it unlocks for you, and there are different it's zoned. So you unlock certain costumes depending on what zone you're in. So I unlocked Rosalina's Aurora dress costume, which looks like she fell out of Frozen 3, right? In the snowy star zone, right? And then you unlock Daisy's swimsuit in the beach zone, right? So it's zoned like that. To unlock the NPC characters, which is the dolphin, cat, not cow. Cow is a default, but dolphin, dry bones, whatever. Nabbit, exactly. You have to be racing on a specific part of the map where that thing would spawn. So say for dolphin, right? You have to be on a water level.
Okay.
You then have to be in the first 8 racers of 24, so the top third. A person behind you needs to get Kamek out of the loot box, which is one of the rarest items in the game.
The food bag or the question block?
The question block.
Okay.
And then if you are still in front of the person who uses the Kamek item, there is a chance that you'll be turned into the character from that region. And that's the only way to unlock those characters is through that Kamek system. So you can game it for sure. I watched a video yesterday that was like, if you just started in split screen and it's just you and the other person, or you and another person, or you by yourself in there 2 times, you can game it such that it works, but you have to be 5 seconds in front of the person. That's how it times it. Like there's no progression. It is basically random. There are going to be people who have played this game for hundreds of hours who will not unlock everybody because the numbers will not have gone their way.
Right. And also, you said you have to be in the top third. So if you suck,
then get fucked.
Or are a child,
get fucked.
Okay.
If you want to be Dolphin and you're a kid, there's no way to say, I want to unlock Dolphin now. You can't do that. It's buck wild. There are so many, like, and I think this will probably be my last thing on it. There are so many new bits of movement tech. You can charge if you're going in a straight line and hold the jump button, you crouch down and you do a charge jump. Depending on how long you hold it for, the higher you go. Except when you're in the air, you do tricks like in the old Mario Kart, but you do tricks way faster, and you're in the air for way longer when you're in the air in this game, because the more tricks you do, the bigger the boost is by the time you hit the ground. You can also wall ride and rail grind, except unless you come at the rail from above or come at the wall from the side, you are expected to roll onto it. I cannot reliably get that animation, the barrel roll animation, to trigger, because when I do it, I end up doing a flat spin trick, and then I run into the wall, and then I don't actually drive onto the wall or drive onto the rail.
I see.
It feels really bad.
The strange thing about the wall ride and the rail grind is, like, I'm sure that there's like some extremely cool out of bounds stuff you can do, but overwhelmingly they seem slower than just driving.
So in the open world, yes. In the game, like in Grand Prix, it feels like you've got to do it in order to get to win these races. And the thing that's, I think, especially frustrating, I'm thinking about like being 7 or 9 years old and playing this game, right? And you are really good at Mario Kart 8 because you've been playing it for as long as you've been alive. You then come to this game and you're watching the computer players do shit that is not taught to you.
Right.
There's no tutorialization, like literally none. There's a help button and it's a text guide that's like press A to drive, press right to jump. But the game doesn't teach you. At no point is it like, hey, if you're running up on a wall, you should probably roll onto the wall. I think what they wanted is that you play the game and you watch the CPU do this stuff. But it isn't clear how, like, it's not clear how they're getting onto accessing these things that is different than the buttons that you're pressing. I just don't think it feels very good. Also, it's an open world racing game where you have to drive off-road, and the penalty for driving off-road is so unbelievably stiff.
It's slow.
Yeah, you go so slow. And I'm like,
and the game's already slower.
And the game is slower. And like this isn't to say that the game is not good. Like, I don't mean to say that like there are not highlights of this game. The scene where you unlock Rainbow Road is an all-time Nintendo scene. Like, straight up, it's just an all-time Nintendo scene. But also, I've played so many of these, I know that somewhere in the background, the game is like, okay, time to make the game fast and fun. And you can feel the dial turn, because I was in like, when I was at the back and all of a sudden nothing had changed. I felt all of the players come to the back and me lunge to the front so I could have it timed out for the music to hit where it was supposed to. And I was like, I don't know. I have thoughts and opinions more than that, but
It's strange. I always find myself kind of being a Nintendo hater just because you can, and it's fine.
No, it's fine. It's like, so fine if you are.
One of the ones which is so like, I try to never be this person, but I couldn't help but think of it when watching people play Mario Kart World, which is that this game takes forever to come out. It's the way it is. There's all the NPCs that you can play as now. None of
Yep.
them fit in the cars.
No.
They
And like some
they
of them,
often
it's
have
funny.
large amounts of stuff clipping through them.
Yes.
Which again doesn't matter in most other things, but it took forever to come out and it's Nintendo.
And
so
it's
like
Nintendo.
if you don't have the polish, then what do you have?
Yeah, nothing. You have a weird kart racer that does not look or play as good as the Sega kart racer that is also coming out this year. Like I don't know. Sometimes it's quirky. Like the dolphin doesn't go in any of them. The dolphin just sits.
Yeah, the
It
dolphin
just floats
is,
above
like,
all
flying.
of the carts. That's fun. But the cow clips out of most of them.
Yeah.
And not in a way that seems like it's, I don't know. I think like it doesn't matter in a little bit because it got 9s, right? Like 9s across the board, 10, like 9s and 10s across the board. So they're going to keep getting away with it. But also like it is not as good as Mario Kart 8. It is not as polished as Mario Kart 8 is. And I don't think it's that good. Like I just like it's a well-made video game in some respects, but I don't think it's a very good Mario Kart. If you ask me which one I would rather play, I would rather play 8.
What about Double Dash?
Fuck Double Dash. It's the worst one. That's the thing. They can't make another one as bad as Double Dash, so this one is good in comparison, you know? It's time for the Hive questions. You can join the Hive by going to vgbs.com/join. Gets you access to the Discord and inside of Hive chat. Nope. Hey, Lotus, where are the questions?
Hive content.
If you go to the Hive content channel, every week you'll get tagged to request Hive questions. This one's from Jordan. Remember to disable all the StreamYard noise and auto leveling stuff when y'all record, please. I got you.
You did remember
already.
that.
I did that already.
You pressed a few other buttons on StreamYard in the interim, but that's okay.
That's okay. Don't listen. Listen. Egg Emoji asks a pretty good question. What's the game that made you realize you were into video games?
I was doomed from the start. My older sibling was born in 1993 and became an enormous Pokemon fan the millisecond it came out. So like I think I played a Pokemon game before human beings develop memory.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think the one that most informs my taste now and why I care about games a lot and why I like work in games is probably Bastion. I've been playing games for my whole life, but there was something different about Bastion. And that was like when I was first making the jump to PC. Yeah. And it was clear that there was something special about it. And it being one of the first, like, for real, like indie games. I'd probably say Bastion.
That's cool. Yeah, no, Pokemon for me was huge. I was kind of in love with the idea that there was a thing that could exist on my TV. Like I was watching a cartoon about it on TV and then I got to do my own version of it, like in my own hands, like when I was going to like on my way to school or on the week, like whatever. And obviously that's what licensed video games are, right? Like that's just how it is. But
that's the power of IP, baby.
That's the power of IP. I'm trying to think like as an adult, I think like Fuser is kind of that for me. I think I was like kind of falling out of, and I'm still maybe arguably falling out of love with this business and with this medium.
Why? What's bad about it?
What's bad about it? But like there are times, and that's why I still play it. The game is 155 years old and has not been supported by an adult in equally as long. But there are some things that you only can do in this medium that you cannot replicate any other way. And I think Fuser is a really good example of that, which is why it's especially harmful. Harmful is maybe not the word that I'm like, it hurts to watch them like bastardize it when they like try to cram it into Fortnite. Cause I'm like, oh no, gang, like you're missing the part of this thing that makes it different. You're stripping that out in service of, it can fit in here. That doesn't mean it needs to. So yeah, thank you, Egg Emoji. Great question from Could Not Be Worse. How many seasons is the right amount of seasons for a USA Characters Welcome Primetime series? Six. Six. The answer is six. You want six seasons. You want them to hit 100 episodes for sure, but you want them to get over the 100 episodes. And if you're greenlighting a show on USA, they get like 18 to 20 episodes, depending. If you were Suits, you got like 22, which is good for Suits. But you want them to hit at least 100 plus a season extra. So it's usually that's 6 seasons. So, Lotus, you also agree?
I don't watch TV. Yeah, definitely.
Lucky Hyena asks, what is the best hospital or medical related video game of all time?
If we're talking about it's hard not to say like the first one that comes to mind, which is Trauma Center, which is one of the dumbest games ever made.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. my answer is Trauma Center. I thought I was going to see titty in Trauma Center so bad. I was like, there's no way for me to see titty. I'm a child. I want to see titty so bad. And there was a screenshot of it in like a Nintendo Power at the time that was like, you can do surgery. And I was like, does that mean they're naked? So I got my mom to get the game for me. Is that how that works? I'm sure I was let loose into the GameStop and then got it.
Right. Just had to be present at the checkout.
Yes. And then there's no titty in it. So I was pissed.
Those are horrific to play.
Yeah, it's not a good. That's the other part. It's not a good game either.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Surgeon Simulator. You can watch Joel's daughter die. That's fun, I guess. There's 2 Point Hospital. What are those that are like wholly doctor related? I don't know.
What if I just type in hospital video games? No, I think we hit them all. I think we got all.
Is there a Left 4 Dead level where you're in the hospital?
Maybe. Yeah.
It sounds like something they would do, so I'll say that.
Did they make
Killing Floor? You can say Killing Floor.
Killing Floor, that's a good
There's shout. A lot of, technically they're hospitals.
Did they make a second Surgeon Simulator?
I believe so.
Right? Surgeon Simulator 2? Huh. The studio who made this game sold it to Tiny Build for $3 million.
Nice.
They got out. They made the money from the game and got out. So good for them.
They should do Overcooked Operating Room. That would be fun.
That's a really good idea. Do you want me to? I'll tell Jordan to cut that out. That's a really good idea, Lotus. That's a really good idea.
Cut that out so I can go get $3 million from Tiny Build.
Absolutely. No, they'll give it to you. They have it.
They sure do have it.
They absolutely have. They're still making money on Hello Neighbor, I think.
I'm sure they are.
Let's see. Would you rather? This is from Jason Sans Argonauts. I don't know what you did to them, but I hope they're okay. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Would you rather have an intimate dinner?
What if you found out that I, as a moderator, had deleted it?
That would be such an abuse of power that would have no ramifications on anything. Like, it would be like, yeah, was it fucked up that you did that? Yeah, does it matter? No.
I remember what the question is, so luckily it just would have been funny.
Yeah. Would you rather have an intimate dinner with David Cage, Peter Molyneux, or Ken Levine?
This is a fascinating question I saw earlier, in the sense that like it's a collection of guys that Jamers love to hate, but I also think that the answer is kind of obvious, and I think it should be David Cage.
Yeah.
Because no one else has made a thing that is better than the last thing they made every time.
Yeah.
And David Cage is that person.
He's that guy.
There's so many things you could say about David Cage and his writing and the topics he's interested in and the games that he has written. But crucially, I can't say that they get worse.
No.
I can't say that the actual game itself as a product under-delivers.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that the people who work under him hate him, generally.
Well, I mean...
Not more than the average kind of guy like this, I guess I should say.
David Cage... Sexual harassment.
Maybe I should say average kind of guy like this is pulling a lot of weight. When we're standing shoulder to shoulder with some of these fellas. I'm choosing David Cage, unfortunately.
I think so too. Whenever someone is like an intimate dinner and asks this kind of conversation, I'm assuming that I get unlimited drinks. And I'll talk to somebody. I'll listen to somebody talk while I'm drunk. Whenever. Like it's actually one of my favorite activities is to be drunk while someone does push content to me.
I think David Cage is the only one who, number one, first of all, woman. So probably the only one who would actually let me have a conversation.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
And then also I think probably the only person who would have an interesting one about games and like the business. And
but what if we sat down with Peter and every single question we asked him was about the cube?
It doesn't say how long the dinner has to be.
In the sky.
It could be like facade, and he just leaves.
There's a giant cube.
Look, in the sky. There's a giant cube. That was excellent.
That was nuts. What was that? That's the Atomic Heart MMO?
Yes. The Atomic Heart MMO, definitely not a battle royale, even though it looks like a battle royale.
What are we doing?
Very strange.
They'll let you do anything if you are being funded by the Russian government.
It's almost as if.
It's almost as if, allegedly. Last one. What robot are you putting into Warframe? What is its cool ability? That's from Chris.
Might be overestimating how much I remember about Warframe.
No, it just could be any robot, I think.
I'm more meant for the ability part.
Oh,
any robot.
Well, I think like you can maybe base the ability set off of the ability set that the robot has.
Okay, let's do Metal Big the Cat from Sonic Adventure.
Great, that's great. What is?
I know that there's fishing in Warframe, so I think it should be like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon where he jumps very high into the sky and he becomes a cannonball. All of the water vacates upon landing, and then you just go and you pick up the fish. You just
pick up the fish. That's great, Lotus. You walked into that question unsure, and you walked out with more clarity than most people on this planet.
Yes,
so congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to be one of those delivery robots that drives on the sidewalk that I threaten to push over every time I see one. And
you play QWOP the whole game.
Yeah, you kind of play QWOP the whole game. And like maybe your job is like they have cities in that game, right? And I think you're just a delivery guy. You're just the delivery robot. That sounds nice.
The best part of MMOs is role playing is doing extremely mundane activities.
Yeah, so I think that's what I would add to the game. That's it.
Nice.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Lotus, for subbing in on short notice.
You're very welcome.
Do you have anything?
It's short notice, but 2 days ago I sure said, John's not going to be here, and John joked that I could take his place, so I think I'm going to be on the podcast.
Yeah, that's good. That's exactly right. Do you have anything you want to talk about or promote?
Not presently. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Lotus Loves Lotus if you so desire.
Okie dokie. You can find me on Blue Sky at NikkiGrayson.com. I have a newsletter called Make You Think. I finally got back into it. Thank you, Bob at Ghost.io, who asked me for a bunch of information, but did transfer the account to a different email address that I had access to. If you are in the VGB's community and you kicked me money after all of my shit got stolen, I am deeply appreciative. Thank you so much. Help. I bought the computer yesterday, so I'm legitimately grateful because I would have been asked out, as it were. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Well, John will hopefully be back next week. I don't see why he wouldn't be, but that's it. Now I have to play the music.
Ooh, let's see how this goes.
Which is in media assets, and then I click on this.
I like the part where we switched places and never went back.
Yeah. I was trying to move the mouse across the screen, and because it got stuck on the microphone cable, and I just yeeted it too hard while I was clicking. Okay, wait, I'm going to turn the music up. Fuck. Now I understand why it sucks when John does it.